Open spot connected to REF030 Charlie.
Good morning from the UK, very early here. It's about 6:30 AM. Just thought I'd do some live 705 and ICOM ID-52 side by side. Just getting set up really. At the moment you're hearing reflector 30 on an open spot. Both radios.
The dstar will not go through the 400 repeater. That's what's nice about the 5100. It's a full duplex radio. Yeah, so is the 400, but it's not documented about the crossband repeat, but it is available. I think you got to hold down the DX, GM, and F at the same time while turning it on, and it'll come up in cross mode. Crossband is what it'll say. It's an unknown trick. It looks like DX Engineering says they sell dstar repeaters, the ICOM one. Or at least the controller.
There you go, getting organised.
November, Mike, 5.
If anybody's got them, it's going to be end of stock. But they're not making any new ones yet. Like I said, there's supposed to be a new repeater coming out that you don't have to have There's a new dstar repeater coming out that you don't have to have a controller. It's built in. But I haven't seen any prices or availability yet. Of course, this big COVID lie. Oh yeah, then you get it and you got to figure out where you want to put it.
So on the left you got the ICOM 705, both at the moment in DR mode. You can see the scope, make the scope look nice and big. Now they both radios will actually do a scope. So let's get it single receive. And then we'll turn on the scope, but let's just watch the information come in first. You can see on the right, you've got the GPS when it's in single mode showing up at the bottom. Now there's your two notification screens. Interestingly, the 705 hasn't got a GPS lock yet, where the 52 has. The 52 GPS is, I've noticed, is very good.
Come on, I'm sure you could get some kind of Medicare thing so that they pay for it.
Both radios are receiving the sort of DPRS messages, even though the 705 is not connected via GPS at the moment. It might do eventually. It does still receive DPRS messaging and information, position information.
Just noticed that I hadn't updated my log. So I was doing that. You know, old Steve got real quiet down there.
Right, I'll show you something really interesting. If I hold down the main dual button on the 52, it goes into dual mode. So A, B, A, B. But if I hold it down again, sorry, wrong one, on the B section, look what we've got. We've got our two hotspots. One on A, one on B. And I can tell you now for definite, it simultaneously will receive dstar. And I think that is very, very good. And I think the FT3D should have done that, and the FT300. Right, it looks like the ICOM 705 has now got a lock. So if we tap GPS information on the 705, there's our lock there, and then on the 52, let's see if we can get that. Look at that, how good that looks.
That's why they discontinued it. But I just went to ICOM's site, and it looks like they may have a controller built into it. No, that's what I said. The older ones you had to buy two separate units. The newer one that's supposed to be coming out has got its built-in controller.
So the GPS coordinates are showing up on both radios. If they lose contact, it goes white. The little satellites go white. But the ICOM 52, to be honest, is winning. It's winning on the GPS. Right, so let's just show you that my 705 can also go on HF. So the 705 is obviously single receive. So go like so. We'll hold down the DR button. And then we'll go into VFO mode, go memory, then VFO. And then let's get the RF up a bit. We're on a G5RV, by the way. Okay. Yeah, so conditions at the moment for HF are terrible at this time in the morning. See if we get, there's some digimodes here. The digimodes are working. Turn that down a bit. Obviously the 705 is a very portable set, and it's everything in a box. And very pleased with it, and the fact that it does Wi-Fi. You've got Wi-Fi here at the top. Now the 52 does not have Wi-Fi, but it does have Bluetooth, and because of that it enables you to connect to your computer for your Android device for the MS1A app. But you don't need to do that to send pictures, because it does it all in-house. I'll show you. Go menu. So I keep hitting the wrong button. Menu, go to picture. Look, there's picture. Not the best. I know it's not it's a bit glary, but it definitely, that's a picture. To come out, you just push VFO twice, and now we can do scope. Menu. Go up, choose scope. And we need to be in single receive for it to work well. We'll just let that scroll down. When someone talks, you'll see their activity.
When you're looking for something, you will never find it until you look in the right place. No. Just go look for something else. That's what I do.
Kilo, Bravo,
Oh, I find it in the last place I looked.
November, Mike, 5, Delta, Delta.
Just means you need to reorder the places, Dennis.
Just use DTMF to connect my All-Star node on the 705.
And tell me why I can't find it. I have done so, but that's no excuse. I my whole wardroom's like that, though. I think instead of selling the house, I'm just going to burn it down and buy new stuff or less stuff. See, what you need to do is get Dan to come over there and find it for you. Dan may be nice, but he's not that nice. You know, Dan's being very quiet. This is where we should start picking on him. I'll send you a SDR plate. No, not SDR. What's that one? It's a little aluminum one, $20. That gets super hot when you.
Now what we could do is give a call out on we'll try and give a call out on Reflector 1 Charlie.
Looks like a pack of cigarette or a pack of gum. Oh yeah, I just bought another one. I lost one of those, so I just bought another one so I can find the original. Well, if it's an RSTL whatever, like I said, that little dude gets hot. Even an aluminum case, it gets super hot.
Right, we're on one Charlie. Just gonna check. Yeah, it's just showing that we're not linked, so I'm gonna relink to 1 Charlie. What I do, I just reboot it. So with a bit of luck, we should hear it link. Let's turn this up, and then we'll give it a call. So on the back of my 52, I've got one of those BP-307 batteries, so it literally lasts a whole day. The standard battery, which I think is the BP-271. It's, about 4 hours if you're fully using the radio. So I think if you've got the 705 and the 52. But to me, the perfect radio to put for the 52 is to have the 7300 already, which most of us have got. And then instead of buying the 705, buy the 52. If you're in the USA, you're getting for about $450, I think. Which sounds a lot, but don't forget you're getting 2 dstar radios in one. You can have 2 hotspots running. You're getting the scope. You can send photographs. It's a lovely big screen. It's a very nice radio. You're going to keep. You're not going to sell it. Just show you some of the menu while that reboots. So you've got voice, record, FM radio. I'll just turn. FM radio there.
Soon it'll feel less like working out and more like chilling out. To whale song.
Turn that off. Back to the menu. DV gateway. So you've got terminal mode, access mode. It works using a normal USB cable. Go back. Set menu. So big set menu here. Duplex, scan, scope, your call sign, my station, DV settings, speech. DTMF, QSO, receive log. I haven't actually looked at that yet. Receive history log. Let's turn it on. Let's go back. Function, battery pack, USB, charging power, screen cap. Oh yeah, it does screen capture if you hold the on-off button. So does the 705. Display, all sorts of settings on the display. Scroll speed, GPS menu, all different settings for the GPS. A lot of this is you'll see in the 705. It's like you've got a 705 in your hand, but it ticks like a 51. So it's just, you can't not like this radio. So for some reason, Reflector 1 Charlie, it doesn't want to log in at the moment. Not really sure why. Let's go back to my open spot anyway. So look, the open spot is on. So if I just hit, then I'm back on the open spot 3 now. So I've not been up long.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If you go over to a website called BUYEE, you can go to the auction and bid for it or the outright price. And you can buy a new ID-52, and they're about $568 USD for ID-52. So that tells you anything what they're going to be when they finally get here in the U.S.
M0FXB on a ID-52.
Jump in, both feet.
Whiskey 9 Delta Sierra Whiskey.
Yeah, morning. I'm live streaming my ICOM ID-52 on YouTube at the moment under M0FXB. And I had to get it direct from Japan, and it was about, in UK, it was about £500.
Was that for the radio or the repeater? Over.
For the just turn that one down. It's echoing. For the ICOM ID-52. Name's Andreas, Southwest UK.
Dan, you gave me the wrong part number then, because that does come back to a handy talkie. What was the part number for the repeater? No, I didn't give you. I said I could tell you what the new ID-52 HT is. You missed that part. Okay, yeah, I got that. Yeah, that looks like a pretty nice little radio. Andrea, tell us about it. KB6QL for ID.
Yeah, very good morning to you both there. So I'm sat here sort of streaming the ICOM 705 side by side to the ID-52, which is running a scope. Now the scope is quite basic, but it's colour and it's quite appealing. The thing I really like about the 52 is that it's dual DV receive, so you can run 2 hotspots. You can have like my open spot is on the A band running reflector 30. And on the B band, I've got my Pi-Star MMDVM board running reflector 1 Charlie, and it just works well. And the GPS on it is amazing. It picks up the GPS satellites a lot quicker than the 705 does, and you still get all the full, nice, pretty display for the satellites and GPS. And it has Bluetooth, and you can operate it with the normal. With the app that you get free on Android, you can operate that wirelessly. So yeah, it's a very cool radio. Back to you.
2 A and B, but it will only decode, and you will hear one only, whichever's first or which we're still working, and you can see activity on the other one, but it will not decode both at the same time. Correct?
Sorry, I must have come off offline for a second. No, it will decode both at the same time.
I know it will decode, but do you hear audio from both hotspots simultaneously, or one at a time? Whichever's one designated as main. Like the 9700 does that. It will only transmit and use digital on the top one. But I don't know. The 52 is different. I'm assuming is what you're saying, because the last time I seen it was going to be. Yes, it will decode and you'll see the activity, but you cannot hear both at the same time if they both have a signal coming in. That's what I was getting at.
M0FXB, yeah, that's what the FT3D does as well. It will only, you'll see it, but you won't hear it. But no, on the 52 you will hear and you do hear, and I've tested it fully, both simultaneously. You can hear reflector 1 and reflector 30 at the same time.
Oh wow, so that's an upgrade from the 9700 then, because it won't do that. Thank you, appreciate that. W9DSW.
Yeah, sorry to jump in. I just heard you mention the 52, and I'm coincidentally live streaming it here on YouTube. The time in the UK is 6:46 a.m. and I thought I'd jump in and just say that when you do get it, when it's available, it's well worth it. If you've already got an ICOM 7300 and you put this next to it, you've got the full setup. So I'll stand by. I don't want to interrupt with your conversation too much. Been listening here and drinking a cup of tea. So thanks for letting me in, and I'm not sure where to put it round to, so I'll chuck it in the air for whoever.
Oh hey, you're live streaming? Are you recording right now?
M0, yeah, definitely. I've been live streaming for about half an hour, and then I heard you guys mention the 52. You just put M0FXB into YouTube, and you'll see me.
Hang on, bringing YouTube up, and then give me that search again.
Yeah, it's just my call sign, Mike 0 Fox X-Ray Bravo, and it will say live with the 52 and the 705.
Okay, I'm there. I'm gonna start watching you.
NM5DD.
Yeah, very good morning. Feel free to subscribe, and then because I do these streams quite often. So if you look, I'm actually talking using the 705, which I love, and amazing radio. And to the right of that, you can see the scope running, and we're on the open spot 3. Both radios are on the open spot 3, exactly the same frequency on super low power, and it's just a lovely setup. But my recommendation is, if you've already got a 7300 or a 7610 or 7700, if you put the ICOM 52 next to it, you've got the full setup, and it's a lovely radio to use. I have gone out and bought one of those big batteries, the BP307 as well. Back to you there.
Okay, yeah, I see everything. What's the time delay on this?
M0FXP, I think it's about 5 seconds.
This is NM5DD. Did I just fall out of the reflector?
No, negative. I think you're still clear.
Yeah, it just came back for some reason with spoke my IP address, so I was just wondering.
Roger. Yeah. Well, I'm using the Open Spot 3, and it does tend to blurt things out, doesn't it? So anyway, I'll stand by. I don't want to interrupt your conversation anymore. Got you up on QRZ. I think that's Dennis, isn't it? In Los Alamos. So yeah, it's only 6:50 a.m. here. I'm guessing it's about 1 a.m. in the US. Well, good to meet you though. I'm Andreas, and I'll stand by M0FXB.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for talking with you. I'll watch your live stream in the background. And I subscribe, so I look forward to watching some more of your stuff. NM5DD.
Yeah, Roger. It's actually if you get it, if you can actually buy it now from Japan for about £420. A site called Buy. It's a bit like eBay, but it links to PayPal, and they have a separate section where you select shipping. It's a very simple process, and a few friends have bought one, and a friend up the road has got one coming today. So it's very and one in Australia, he's got one coming. So it is possible to get it, but you're worried about whether it covers the correct bands and things for the US and whether it's FCC approved. That's the problem. But I think when it does hit the US market, it's going to be $500 back to you.
Review and then send it to John.
I think that sounds wonderful, KB6QL.
Oh yeah, but to get it, you gotta send me the flax.
NM5DD
No.
KB6Q
That sounds like a really good trade for me.
NM5DD.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll just let Dan buy one, and then he can send it to me. Oh.
You know, he's still streaming us.
Sounded good to me.
KB6QL.
Wow,
N
that 52 really looks sweet.
It's live stream. That's why I put there's a plant there.
Tell you what, I'll get the new one for $573, and you can buy my ID-51A plus 2 as terminal mode.
I got a 5100. What do they want with that old thing?
Well, the 5100 won't do terminal or access point, but the 41 and the 31 and the 51 will. That's what. Without no hotspot. All you need is a Raspberry Pi 0W.
Okay, use smaller words and explain that to me.
The 5100 is a true dual band, dual receive. Well, they're all just about any dual band. The 4100 is dual band too. But the 5100 has dual receive. The 4100 does not. But the 4100 has terminal mode and access point mode, where the 5100 does not. Also, as does the ID-31 and the 31A plus, and the ID-51A plus 2 has both terminal mode and access point mode. Like the 9700, and I don't know if the 705 does or not, can't remember. But you don't need a hotspot, you just need a small Raspberry Pi, and one of the cables you need is UPC or UL, whatever, 2350L UL or whatever cable, and that's it. You're right on dstar, well, the reflectors. Now, terminal mode, if you use ICOM software and Bluetooth or the cable, you cannot access reflectors. You can only use what they call call sign routing, which is just about useless.
I'll put this on the chair, and she'll come and sit on it.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're talking about the Kenwood D74. It does the same thing, but that's an interesting. But that's a mobile, isn't it? That you're talking about?
I don't believe the 74 does the terminal mode. I don't know. I don't have a manual. I don't have one. But yeah, the 4100 and the 51. Yeah, the 41 is a mobile. The 31A.
I've got the 74. It definitely doesn't do terminal.
Is HTs, and that's what I'm using. I'm actually using a 4100, but I have my 51 turned off at the moment. But yeah, that's what's nice about the 41. You can use it in terminal mode, which is kind of neat. That's what I'm doing. No RF, no fan, no nothing.
Yeah, you can use doozy.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the terminal mode, but I could swear that the 74 would do that. Okay, Adrian just told us it doesn't do it, so that's the answer to that one.
The 705 does do terminal mode.
That's what I was saying with the 4100 mobile. You can do terminal mode, which is no RF, or access point, just like the Fusion radios with the Wires X. You can use access point mode where you use a radio and another dstar radio to access it. So if you want to hook up what they call a simplex repeater with your dstar at home and run it at 5 watts, 50 watts, or whatever watts you want to run it, and you can have your little HT or mobile in the car, and you can be listening to the dstar as far as the dstar signal will go just like a normal repeater, which is kind of neat.
So that's what the 5100 will do, correct?
No, the 5100 will not do that. It does not have terminal mode. Only the 4100, 31 plus, it has to be a plus. The 51A plus 2, I believe the 97, I know the 9700 does, and I don't know about the 705 if it has terminal mode or not. I don't know. I haven't looked at that one yet.
Yeah, but can you explain terminal mode one more time to me and use small words?
Okay, in terminal mode, you're directly accessing the dstar reflectors, no RF. You're using the radio and the mic and the speaker, and that's it. You get the little data cable that plugs into the data port on the back of the radio or in your HT on a dstar ICOM radio only, and then you get a Raspberry Pi 0W, just that for $10. You power it with a micro USB and you get an SD card. You hook that all up, run Pi-Star, and you can get right on any reflector that you want. Terminal mode from ICOM, when you use their software, you cannot access reflectors, period. It doesn't do that, which is kind of stupid. I don't know why they did that, but you can only do what they call call sign routing. And you call out someone, and unless they know who you're talking to, no one else can talk. So it's kind of silly. That's why you go the other way.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so your only RF then is your Raspberry Pi talking RF to your router, Wi-Fi router. That's the only RF then. I understand now. That's pretty cool. Actually, call sign routing looks pretty cool, and in fact, DB for ID. But like you said, I don't think anybody uses it.
No, they don't, because then a lot of people discourage it because it's basically a two-way conversation, you and someone else, basically. But the RF, the only RF is with the little Pi-Star to pick up the internet signal and get on a D-Star reflector. But you don't need a hat, you don't need no MMDVM on the on the Raspberry Pi or nothing. Powered up, the cable from ICOM, which is like $50-$60 you can buy.
I've just rebooted the hotspot again. Let's see if it connects to One Charlie, and you'll hear it connect.
$10. You don't even need what they call the GPIO header on there. You get right on D-Star without any RF.
You're now listening on the 52.
Like I said, W9DSW.
So you can take that thing, put a rubber band around it, attach it to the back of your radio, and never emit any RF at all.
Correct. thing you
Hello?
need to have is
Hello?
if you walk around with it, you're going to have your cell phone. Your cell phone has to have what they call a Wi-Fi internet hotspot. That's all you got to have, or be connected to any Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever, any Wi-Fi access, or you can use it with your phone. And it doesn't use that much data on your phone, but a lot of people's got mega or unlimited. So, but yeah, you're right, correct.
Well, yeah, because I guess the big thing now is you get your do a hotspot to your phone and then hang your hotspot in your car, and you just drive around. You're always on like reflector 30, even when you wander around the U.S. on the highways.
You could try terminal. You could try Google.
Mike 0.
I'm sorry, I didn't copy that.
M0FXB with terminal mode. You could try Doozy. Have you tried that one?
Store with the little Raspberry Pi. You don't even need Doozy.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, and I've done that with the Pi Star as well. It's just I think Doozy's very convenient because it's just plug and go, isn't it? But yeah, I was just thinking out loud.
Open spot disconnected.
Oh.
Open spot connected to REF030 Charlie.
Yeah, sorry for that. It looks like I disconnected for some reason on OpenSpot. As you do. Right, let's see if my hotspot's connected on 1 Charlie. Doesn't really want to, does it? Yeah, for some reason the 1 Charlie is like it's not working, but we're going to try and link to it using, go like that. We'll go reflector, link to reflector, direct input, reflector, 1 Charlie, set.
M0FXB and M5DD.
And M5DD, yes, sorry, my OpenSpot logged me out and logged me back in, back to you.
REF001 Charlie.
Sawa-san, very good to talk to you again. Arigatou gozaimashita. Hope to speak to you again in the near future. And hope all is well with you. Stay safe and cool and everything like that. And take care. 73s. Arigatou. Deo mata ne. JI3 IBK. BK2XOR.
Okay, Mark-san.
It looks like we're on 1 Charlie via the OpenSpot.
楽しいケースありがとうございました。Oh, you are Japanese very well. I understood. I can understand you. Japanese, no problem. Thank you. マークさん、またお会いしましょう。I hope to see you again.
Have a busy. Goodbye. Stay safe. Catch you later.
Right, see if I can log back in now.
To get on B.
REX030 Charlie.
See, what are you using to get on dstar?
Right, I'm back on 30 Charlie now.
Out of the radio.
I've got an ICOM 5100. I've got a 74 also, but I'm not using it.
Copy.
Yeah, let you know I am back now. I dropped out M0FXB.
Yeah, if you can't get on what was it, 1 Charlie, I can switch up my open spot over there. Who's my 30 Charlie on?
NM5DD. Yeah, I was trying to get the dual receive on, and I just got a bit lost in the radio. Ended up switching my open spot to 1 Charlie, so I'm back on 30 Charlie now.
Oh, okay, so you must have 2 open spots, right?
No, I've got I've got my Pi-Star running here. The dashboard's on. It won't link at the moment to 1 Charlie for some reason. I'm just about to reboot it. No, I got a bit lost because in the DR menu I've got the open spot and the hotspot right next to each other, and when I was trying to get a bit of the Pi-Star to connect to 1 Charlie so I could have both running, I had it on the open spot selection, so I moved from 30 to 1, if that makes sense. Back to you.
Yeah, it does. I was thinking, because the 5100 will do duplex D-Star. I was like, I'll just bring up 1 Charlie, but my local repeater, the internet's down, so I can't do that. I'm stuck with just the open spot.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I do tend to always be running a couple. Right now, I might just switch to a different... I've got 2 jumbo spots. They're so cheap to make over here in the UK. You'll make them for about £40. So I think I've got 3 lying around. The open spot, the DV Mega. If I'm on Fusion, I even use the the Wires XPC mode. So like multitasking is just fun, isn't it? So, but otherwise, you're all sounding really good. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I may have to buy another access point because it'd be nice to be able to sit on 2 reflectors at the same time. At least to monitor one and talk on the other if I had to.
M0FXB. Yeah, and that was the way I went in the end. I think I've got 5 hotspots here, and none of them are expensive apart from the open spot. The open spot is good. It's good for cross mode, but it is a bit glitchy. I find it'll just log me out and it'll just stall for no reason. I'm not unhappy with it, but it has its moments. But saying that, so does the Pi-Star system. That can have its moments. Like right now, it won't. Although the open spot will log straight into 1 Charlie, my Pi-Star hotspot won't. And there's no reason for it. If I switch to a different hotspot, it will probably log in straight away. There goes my little puppy in the background. Back to you.
Yeah, I found with the open spot too that it's not a bad idea to power it off, power it back on every couple of days. Because it will get in a weird state. I don't know if it's just because the sun's, where it's located, or the moon's coming up in the wrong place or something, but it's just randomly once every so it just does something weird.
How do you get on wires X? Are you using a spotter or do you go PDN?
I do both, but I think I prefer using PDN mode because I've got all the cables for it, and I do spend a lot of time just sat at the laptop here in the kitchen table where you can see me. So yeah, I do use both.
Roger that. I was just curious. I do the same thing, but I do not, because I have a DV Mega dual band, like I think what you mentioned a minute ago. I prefer the PDN because it doesn't. They'll all mess up, but I find that the reflectors, it's a backdoor system into the true wires X, and it causes a lot of problems, especially on the popular reflectors like AmericaLink. But I wished the Wires X software had one thing that these Pi-Star, because it keeps a rolling tally of who's been on there and who's keyed up. Unlike Wires X, it just shows you who's keyed up at the moment and who's all connected to that node or room, but it doesn't tell you who's been on there. And I use that Pi-Star just for that. I don't use it for RF. I just use it to keep a running tally. I find that very nice.
NM5DD.
It's on wires for Wires X.
W9.
Okay, my wrong.
NM5DD.
Hey, if we get another pandemic check, I'm buying an IC-705. That's a nice radio.
It is. It's a lovely radio. To me, it's the best radio I've ever had, ever. And I've just put a link on because quite a few people have asked me where did I get and how did I get the 52 from Japan. So I've just put a link on my channel of a video of me doing it. So but yeah, the 705, and see the nice carry cage that's there in the video. That's come from the USA.
Yeah, I like that 709. The 52 is nice too. But, they're both nice radios. I like the idea of dstar over HF. I'd like to play with that. I've got a KX3 and then a 797 and 757, but none of those do dstar.
M0FXB, yeah. I mean, there's such good equipment coming out, but the ICOM, to be honest, I think have really hit the ball out of the park with these radios. The FTDX10 though, that is, I'm not going to buy another radio. I've got too many here. I've got the 7300 as well, but the FT10DX is a lovely looking radio.
Oh yeah, I've got an FT857 in the Jeep, and then I just put an ID-52-and in, and I'm wondering why I still have the FT857. But every now and then I do HF in the Jeep, so. But most of my HF now seems to be FT8 or FT4.
Yeah, I do a bit of FT8, and the 705 does FT8 wireless, and that's very cool.
Yeah, if you can get rid of all these stupid cables, that's a wonderful thing. That's the thing I hate to do, because every time I turn around, I got to find another cable, or I got a cable that's in the way, or cables become unplugged.
I should understand. Go ahead.
John, I didn't copy an M5DB.
M5DD.
I was just asking Andreas if that ID-52 was available at least in limited quantities in Japan, but not anywhere else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say Japan have got plenty 52s, so I don't understand what's going on. If I go on the site now, I could buy one now and it will be here. If it was a weekday, it will be here in 3 days using UPS, fully covered by PayPal.
Wow.
KB6QL.
I noticed you're on the 74, which I have, and I did do a video running the 74 side by side with the 52 to see the comparison.
I'll have to look at that. Did you do it fairly recently? Question mark? Nah. You noticed that I dictate text all the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple of nights ago, on my channel, M0FXB, it will be in the first sort of 5 videos. You'll see it there. It wasn't brilliant. I did it before I went to bed. You know, the 74 is amazing radio. But the 52, it just looks, you know, it just looks nicer, and the screen is definitely a lot bigger. It's that the 52 feels like using a small ICOM 705, but obviously you've lost HF. That's the backwards thing. If you've got a 74, you lose HF. But otherwise, the 52 is I'll be honest, it's just a nicer radio to use. I really like the 74. Back to you.
Interesting. Everything just gets better. That's pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very lucky, us hams. The equipment that is coming out now is just excellent, and I wasn't sure even if I'd like the 52. I sort of got it over here thinking, well, I could make a load of videos on it. I've made 100 videos on it, but after using it, I can't really put it down. It's just really nice to use, as is the 705.
That's good to know. We learn from each other about our equipment. And that's, I think, one of the true powers of ham radio. Go ahead, KB6QL.
KB6UL, yeah, definitely. I mean, everything I've learned is talking to other hams, help from other hams, you know, which has been going on since I bought a hotspot about 4 years ago. Got myself a little Pi-Star. Didn't even know if I wanted it. I was like, that's not real radio. I'll listen to my local repeater and do a bit of HF. I'm happy. The second I had that hotspot in my hand, really my hobby changed forever. And then ICOM started bringing out all this amazing kit. And the 5100 is a lovely radio, and very cheap to buy over here now. Under £400 you'll get a second-hand one. And look how good the 5100 is, and I've still got my 51 plus 2, and that's an excellent radio too. So finally I managed to get my Pi-Star to connect. So if you want, I can put this 52 into dual receive, and I can show you it receiving DV at the same time on A and B band. Right. There's someone calling on reflector 1 Charlie. I'll turn that down. So can someone call in on 1 Charlie? And then we've got 30 Charlie running. Anyone out there to call in?
Yeah, sorry, VK2TMO, just checking on a hotspot, VK2TMO.
So you heard VK calling in there. So if someone calls in on 30, then we're all good to go. Yeah, so we just need 2 stations to call in, and then you'll see the simultaneous receive on dstar. So at the bottom it says hotspot, that's Pi-Star system, and at the top it says open spot 3, that's reflector 30.
Reflector 30 Charlie. 99 DSW on 1 Charlie.
Yeah, I got you both. Just what we.
Hello, Dan. A quick g'day before I move out of the shack.
We need someone at the same time calling on 30 when the VK station's talking.
Hello, the name is Sean.
There you are, W6ALB. We had you then.
Doing good. We got
And there you go. And there you go. So I'm listening to you both.
Very good, Dan. Yeah, you're sounding okay. You're sounding good. Yeah, there's a new one.
So it's a bit confusing, but it works.
Release, is that the new version of the audio, the 91?
You can see all the GPS stuff coming in.
ID-52 is the new HT that's not available. I think you might be able to get it, but it's not here in the States. With the gentleman in the UK up there's got an ID-52, and he has it on his YouTube channel right now at the moment, demonstrating how there can be 2. It will decode, and you'll hear 2 digital D-stars on the ID-52. The new ID-52 HT at the same time. That's what it's doing, or what he's trying to demonstrate.
Yeah, excellent, Dan. That would be very similar to, of course, the DMR, watching slot 1 and slot 2, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'll have to have a squeeze of that. Yeah, I'm just about to turn gear off and leave the shack, and it's afternoon time, and things are going to be put away before the sun sets here, Dan, over.
Just to hear what they say if they heard me or see me. W9DSW.
And you're still here? And I'm fine, TV.
November.
See you, Dan. Nice to chat to you from down under.
Yeah, I'm just going to switch to single mode there a second. I think I was called there, M0FXP.
Yeah, I just followed your other YouTube. I'm looking at the 52s on the Yahoo Japan auction site. Yeah, they're right around $600 US. That's not too bad.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I'm proof of the pudding that you can get one. My friend's got one coming today. A guy from Australia, and I've had, I think 400 people view that video of how to buy one. And I've checked the transmit. It seems, it's 144 to 146 on 2 meters. Actually, I haven't checked 77s. But, it is a bit weird when it comes through. It's in Japan. You've got to go into display and change the language to English. You've got to go into speech, change it to English as well. Otherwise, it talks to you in Japan. But otherwise, once you get your CSV file in there, and I can send a data file to anyone that wants one. Once you get your CSV file in there, then that's works as normal. And what's the other thing? There is one other thing you need to do. No, it's completely gone from my mind. The settings file, CSV. Oh, you need to upgrade the firmware because these are coming out with version 1.10 and it should be 1.20. But very straightforward. You can upgrade the firmware in about 3 minutes.
So how do you deal with the frequency differences? I don't. The U.S. 2 meters and 440 is slightly different than the British and the Japanese. At least that's my understanding. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and it's actually a question that I need the answer to. I haven't actually looked yet. I need to see what the frequencies that are that you guys use. I know that the radio does 144 to 146 on 2 meters. I mean, like any radio, you can open it up. Of course you can. You just remove a diode. But I wouldn't want to do that. Although to take this thing apart, it's just pull the knobs off, 2 screws, and the whole case comes off. It's that simple. But no, I wouldn't recommend that, of course. So it's what I could do is I could dig out the actual manual that came with this radio, which is Japanese. And I could take a photograph of the frequencies allowance. I'll make a little video on it, and then it will answer that question, because many people have asked that question already. So I'll do that later.
ID for ID. Yeah, I wonder if the firmware would change it, or it's like maybe it's one of these things where you gotta rub your head and pat your stomach or something. Push buttons and turn knobs, and it'll modify the frequency bands that you need. But yeah, it's a great little radio. I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure if I wanted it, but eventually, I saw a photograph of it, and there's a lot of Japanese videos on it now, and I just couldn't resist it. So, each time you talk, there's something I wanted to tell you, and I keep forgetting what it is. No, I've lost it now. Yeah, no regrets at all. I'm here having great fun with it, and yeah, you might end up paying $100 more than it's going to be in the US. But if you have it because these might not come out in the US until after Christmas. So if you have the enjoyment of it for 7-8 months, it's worth $100. So yeah, what I was going to say is the firmware that I've got, which is accessible via ICOM Japan, is the Japan firmware. But it loads up, no problem at all. Just make sure I haven't logged out of OpenSpot. OpenSpot does that. Yeah, I just checked that I'm still logged into OpenSpot 3 on 30 Charlie. Why does it keep doing that? So it looks like OpenSpot has logged me out. So let's go to my OpenSpot control page.
I think you locked out, Adrian. I saw you on YouTube talking, but I didn't hear anything on my radio.
Yeah, I thought I did. Good job we have YouTube. So, yeah, I think my last thing was just saying that it's the firmware and all the manuals and everything you need is on the Japan ICOM.
Did Adrian appear? KB6QL.
Looks like he fell off the reflector. He's trying to get back on.
Oh, I was thinking about my friend Adrian, G1KEA. Adrian, are you there? KB6QL.
I see you showing up on the 705. So you're hitting the. I wonder if he's on 1.
A bit glitchy.
VK2TMO.
I'll leave it running dual receive for a while.
You have a really good day there. Well, I just looked, and Japan's 2 meters the same as U.S., but they're 440, 70 centimeters. 10 megahertz.
I'm gonna pack it in there pretty soon there, and
Right, we're going to leave it running dual receive for a while, and then we're going to end the stream. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching.
okay, God bless. And, I wonder if it's just like do your best to run that COVID thing that's on the go there, okay? VK2TMO. All the best to you and your families. This is Victor Alpha 6, Bravo Hotel. Greetings from Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. Bye for now.
Well, they're not diodes. They're actually what they call zero ohm resistors.
Yeah, but COVID in Australia, we're doing okay.
Current they'll take, but
We're doing okay. We certainly haven't got it under control, but
there's no mod out
it's
yet.
just it runs in the background every day, and if they let their guard down, it pops up, and then they colour back, and we're just in a little bit of a holding pattern, I suppose. But okay, see you later, mate. Likewise, stay safe and stay away from that bug. See ya. VK2TMO clear and closing.
In U.S. But it does do 2 meters, 144 to 46. Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong too. Yes, it's 48. My bad. Drops off 2 megahertz to the 2 meter.
Yeah, I think though it's probably like you said, some zero ohm resistors you pull out. And,
I can't believe that's not done in firmware instead. I think the UK is the same way as the 44 to 46 and the 430 to 440. That's why they can get them over there, or at least send them over there, whatever the case may be.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I know that's why they have a 74A and a 74D on the D74s. Are you watching Adrian his YouTube stream?
Negative. I turned it off. I was on 30 for a little bit, talking to a couple in New Zealand while he was trying to do the dual setup.
Yeah, it's interesting. What they do. I like that 705, and that 52 is really nice too.
Engineer, back.
Like I said, it will do both, and you'll see both, but you'll only hear one's the main band, one's the sub band, which you can swap them back and forth, so it doesn't make no difference. But you will not hear two conversations at the same time. If the signal's coming through one of your hotspots on the 5100, you'll hear the main band will have priority over the sub band, and like I said, you can switch that back and forth, so it doesn't matter. But you can see the activity on both, but you only hear the main band, whichever one you designate as main side VFO.
You seen that with the 5100? ID 5100?
That's with the ID 5100 and the ID 51 also the same way. They're both the same. No, I'm sorry, the 51 does not. You can only do one. It'll only do one, A or B. It will not do both. But the 51, you'll see both activity. If you have two hotspots on different frequencies, but make sure you have it that way. You'll see the activity on both, but you'll only hear one, because it only has one vocoder chip to decode the audio.
Right, the 5100 will do both. It is a true. Well, you said that it's a true crossband. I want to say it's a full duplex, or yeah, it's full duplex.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie, India, back.
Yeah, it'll do both. It'll receive both. It'll receive digital signals on both A and B both, but it will not decode both at the same time. Now it will do this. It will decode one and the other side is FM, and you'll hear both. You'll hear the dstar signal coming through the
Still here for a bit longer. Cup of tea. Cheers to the USA.
You'll see it on the screen, but you will not hear it if you have the both in dstar mode.
Charlie, India, did you want to come in?
I just purchased the 42 SMA antenna as well as the Diamond 320 Alpha antenna for my 10-watt TXT74, those two antennas. So, yeah, I'm good to go here. So, yeah, thank you so much for that information. Victor Echo 3, Charlie, India.
Oh, glad to help, Brad. Now, do you have any problems? Just come back on 30 Alpha.
Right, I think I'll end the stream. Everyone's coming down now over here in the UK. We've got the kids going to school soon. So thanks very much for watching. And yeah, fun chatting, very interesting. Thanks to NM, is it 5D and the other stations. And sorry for interrupting. And yeah, catch you soon, 7-3.